Welcome. I'm happy you're here. Crazy times, and I thought it might be useful to share some ideas around therapeutic tools for easing anxiety. We're all dealing with a lot right now, and a lot of overwhelm and emotions and challenges of different levels. And while we can't control the external circumstances and we don't know where this is going to end up, and that's, I think, for a lot of us, a part of the trigger that can lead to the anxiety. So today I wanted to look at what are some things that we can do. How can we come back into presence and use the tools like the body, helping the body to shift into a relaxation response. Use tools like supportive, restorative postures or deep relaxation postures, and massage and energy work. So before we get going into the practice, I just wanted to give you a heads up that for this practice, it would be really useful. You can use stuff around your house, but it would be useful to have a blanket, at least one blanket, a couple of pillows. I have this bolster, but you can also use household pillows. And for this particular practice, it can be useful. I brought some household items, a bag of lentils, or a bag of flour, just something that would give you a bit of weight, because we're going to be using the therapeutic properties of earth and some weight to deepen our restful postures. So blanket, something that you can grab, like a bag of beans or flour or sandbag or something that, even a heavier pillow or something would be useful. So before we get going into these practices, I wanted to give you the perspective on anxiety from traditional Chinese medicine. So they make the link between anxiety and the digestive system. And in a way, this is an interesting connection because we know obviously that when we eat the wrong foods or we eat something that doesn't agree with us, we get indigestion or our digestive systems get overwhelmed. But the same goes for experiences. So whatever we experience in this paradigm, in this way of thinking about it, has to in some way be digested. So that could be emotions, thoughts, experiences of any kind. So thinking about it that way, the practice that we're going to be doing today is really going to be around supporting the digestive system. Okay, so, and interestingly, as we support the digestive system, we're also supporting the relaxation response. Now, we have this deep evolutionary response in our physiology called the stress response. And we also have its counterbalance, which is the relaxation response. The relaxation response is what we're going to be focusing on, and it's kind of like brake and gas. It's very difficult to feel anxious when our bodies are relaxed. So we'll be almost in a way replacing anxiety with a relaxation response or a relaxed nervous system. So that helps to stimulate the digestive system, the relaxation response, and it's all about recovery. So regardless of what's going on around us, we can't always control it, but what we can do is we can change our response and we can change our internal state, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So I'm happy you're here. And we're going to begin actually with some shaking practice. So this is a Qigong practice. So let's come up to standing. And the first thing we're going to do is just shake it out. So in Qigong, we call this shaking out stale energy or stale Qi. And you just go ahead and shake and just get all that pent up energy, that agitated, anxious energy, out of the body. We're going to do this for about 2 more minutes. This shaking, you can make sound if you like as you shake. Just flick off energy through your fingers, through your toes. This really shaking it out. Making sound if that feels good. Shake that out. Good. 1 more minute like that. Shake, shake, shake. Shaking off stale energy. It tends to build up, and it kind of builds up as strong energy in the body. Shake that out. Last 30 seconds. Good. Okay, perfect. All right, let's come back to sitting. And you can sit up on something so that it's easy to feel comfortable and a kind of upright spine. We're going to do one more energy exercise just to create a bit of centering. Okay, so either sitting in a chair or sitting on the floor, I'd like you to take your hands beside your ears and take a deep inhalation here. As you breathe out, we're going to imagine that we're gathering all the energy around the head and the face. And then breathe in again with your hands together, and breathe out as you bring your hands to your heart center. Okay, good. And then let's do that again. So hands beside the ears, taking a deep inhale. As you exhale, gather the energy. This is called centering of the senses. So gathering the energy around the head, often anxious, frenetic energy. Breathing in and breathing out. Bring the hands to your heart center. Let's do that one more time. So breathing in, hands beside the ears. And a slight cup shape in your hands. Breathing out. Draw the hands together, creating some centering of your senses. Breathing in and breathing out, just bringing that focus of our senses to our heart center. Good. And just pause for a moment here. Your hands at your heart. Just creating an intention, or just even a kind of focal point from your heart for why you're practicing, why you're doing these practices today. Whether it's to create a little more space, a little more peace or embodiment. Just breathe into that intention. Remembering the motivation for your practice. So when we're practicing these self-care practices, we're building energy, and whatever we are focusing on most of the time becomes our reality. So here we're setting a plan, we're making a plan. So whether it's just to feel more centered, more grounded, more at ease, more at peace. Good. And then we'll go ahead and lower the hands down, open the eyes. And let's take the hands up to the forehead, and we're going to just massage the forehead, the worry lines of the forehead. So just starting to come into a little bit of acupressure here, following along our digestive meridians. Just working the bridge of the nose out towards the temples. Good. And then with the index fingers and thumbs, I want you to work to unfold your ears. So the ears are a really good way to calm the nervous system down. So we have a lot of acupressure points in the ears that you can press on. It's a really quick way to calm the system down. So just massaging the folds of your ears is like you're trying to flatten your ears. Pull down on your earlobes, pull out on the flaps of the ears, pull up. Good. Okay, and then we'll move down to our bellies, and we're going to make circles in a clockwise direction. So we're following the flow of the digestive energy. Just making circles, bringing some blood flow, some circulation, some warmth to the abdomen, to the belly, softening the belly. Good. A couple more of these clockwise circles, soothing the digestion. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to move down into our legs. So I'm going to straighten my left leg, and I'm going to work along the outside of my legs. So the outside of the large muscles of my quadriceps. I can roll out, I can push down with my hands. I'm working down, maybe bending the knee down the outside of the shin. Good. Just rubbing along the outer shin. These are, according to the subtle body meridians, these are the digestive channels. So we're just waking up, bringing some blood flow into the digestive channels, going down the outside. And then you can massage the arch of your foot and start to work up the inside of the leg, the inner calf, the inner ankle, the squeezing, kneading out any tension there, inner calf, inner ankle. You can lean to your right side and just push down up the inside. Good, from the sole of the foot up the inside. Just one more pass on this left leg. Okay, then we're going to switch. We'll stretch out the right leg and we'll work down the outer quad. If you had a rolling pin, you could work with a rolling pin. For now, we're just using the good old-fashioned thumbs, working down the outside of the shin with the fingertips, getting into the physicality of the body. Okay, so often when we're suffering, because we can really suffer with anxiety and overthinking and worry, we're not quite in our bodies. We're kind of stuck in the future, planning for the future. So here, just take this opportunity, this next little bit of time, to practice being in your body. Okay? Working the inner arch, the sole of the foot on the right side. Just massage out the inner arch. This is along the digestive meridian, the spleen meridian, pancreas meridian. Working up the inner calf just behind the shin bone with your thumbs. There's a really nice point that's about your palm width above your inner ankle. You could spend a bit more time there. It's a grounding point. It's the lower point, intersection point of all the lower leg meridians, yin meridians. And you can work up the inner aspect of the thigh, the inner groin, with your thumb, with your hands, just kneading in there. Last couple times, going up the inside of the leg. In a bit, we're going to be focusing on some stretches that target these areas too, but for now, we're just kind of waking up these lines. Okay? They tend to get sluggish and stagnant when we have anxiety, because that's a kind of an overwhelm for the digestive system. Psychic indigestion. Okay, so let's sit now either up on a chair or in crossed legs, and we're going to shift our focus now from our physical body to our breath. Okay, so I want to introduce a couple of ideas around working with the breath, but at all times you can modify and just take all of these practices that we're doing, and you have to make them work for you. For one person, one person's medicine can be another person's trigger for anxiety. So be sensitive more than anything, and we'll work with it. If you feel like just returning back to like a normal natural breath, that's totally okay as well. Okay, so the first type of breathing we're going to work with is called 4-7-8. And this is referring to a 4-second inhale, a 7-second hold, and an 8-second exhale. Okay, so let's try it. We're going to begin with a couple normal breaths, just sitting nice and tall. You can close your eyes, and with the inhale, just stretching up your spine. And with the exhale, just settling down into the feeling of the weight of your body on the floor, the physical gravity sensation of your body. Good. And now let's exhale all of our air out. And then we'll try this breathing. So we'll inhale for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. Let's hold for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's try it a few more times. So inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale for 8. 3, 4, 5. Relax your body. 7, 8. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Stay relaxed. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A couple more times. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Breathe normally now. Just relax your body. Feel where you're holding tension. Feel where you're bracing. Feel where you're struggling. So a big part of the breathing exercises is to kind of just feel the effect of what you did. You can sometimes after the 4-7-8 feel a little breath hungry, and that's normal. Just try to relax your body. So we're trying to lower the requirement for excess air. When we get anxious, we tend to want to hyperventilate. So we're calming the body down, slowing the breathing down, thereby slowing down the nervous system, down regulating the nervous system. Okay, let's do one more breathing exercise before we get into some postures. So this one is called alternate nostril breathing. The idea with this one is we're going to move the focus of the air in through one nostril and then through the alternating between the nostrils. And the idea is that, again, just like the previous exercise, we're trying to lower the need, the requirement for extra air. Okay, the idea of breathing into a paper bag when we feel panicky is actually to decrease your breathing rather than hyperventilate. So we're using the breath here strategically, but if it makes you more anxious to lower the volume of air, just breathe normally. Okay, so the main idea is that you feel relaxed and you feel in your body, okay, with this breathing technique. Okay, so let's start again with a couple normal breaths. Stretching up the spine as you breathe in And exhaling as you breathe out, settling into your seat. Good, stretching up. Feel the elongating effect of the inhale and then settling into the exhale. Good. So using your right hand, you're going to close off your right nostril and exhale all your air through your left nostril. And then we're going to inhale through the left. If you get clogged up at all, you can just visualize the air going in through the left without actually closing the nose. And then exhale through the right. A short hold at the end. We're going to inhale through the right side. And we're going to exhale through the left side. Try to lengthen the breath nice and smoothly. Then inhale through the left side. And we'll exhale through the right side. Again, if it feels uncomfortable, you get anxious, just breathe normally. Inhale through the right side. Again, you can visualize it if you have plugged up nostrils. Exhale through the left side. I'm going to do 3 more rounds like this. So inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. And exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. 2 more times. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. And exhale through your left. Let's do 1 more round together. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. And exhale through the left. Good. Lower your hand down if you're using your hand. Just breathe normally now. With your inhale, come into the present, into your body. And with your exhale, relax any tension in your shoulders, in your face, in your belly, in your hips. Good. And then open your eyes if they're closed. And we're going to come into our first posture. And this posture is going to stretch the meridians of the stomach. So we're going to come onto our bellies. And this is called the Sphinx pose. So we're on our elbows and you're propping yourself up on your forearms. Okay? You're going to relax your shoulders. Okay? And we're going to stay here. This is a yin posture. We're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Just breathing in, feeling the contact of the belly on the floor. Bring your breaths into your lower abdomen. Relax your shoulders back. Feel the weight of your tailbone. If it's helpful to close your eyes, brings you more into your body, close your eyes, or you can just keep them kind of half-masked. But do relax your shoulders and feel the front of your thighs, your belly, the front of your ribs and your chest opening a little bit. Okay, last minute here. If you like, you can add a variation of bending your knees, and we can windshield wiper the legs from side to side. So you're opening up your hips as you stay for this last little bit of the hold. Moving your legs side to side, just getting a little bit of rotation into your hips. Good. And then you can straighten your legs again. And the last few seconds, if you like, you can push the hands into the floor and just stretch up the belly a little bit more, lifting up the chest. If it's too much on the lower back, stay low. Those of you who want a little bit more, you can walk your hands in a bit closer. So this is kind of a cobra posture or a seal pose, stretching those digestive meridians in the fronts of the legs, up through the belly, open the throat, relax your shoulders. Very good. And then let's come down, and we're going to push with our hands, and just bring your hips back towards your heels for the transition. From here, we're going to step 1 foot forward, and that will bring us into a kind of wide stance. Okay, so I'm going to show you this variation with a chair, but if you're really mobile in your hips, you can use the floor or blocks. Okay, so I'll show you with a chair. So we're holding the edges of the chair. The feet are nice and wide, so we're getting into the inner line of the legs. We're going to breathe in here, and then we're going to start to fold forward and move our hips back in space. As our hips go back, we can relax the forehead and take a moment here to settle in. Okay, we're doing these postures for a couple of minutes each, just so we can really settle in and feel the tension in the body start to soften. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Relax your head, your shoulders, and see how much you can soften into this. Okay, so these are our yin style poses. Okay, poses that focus a little bit more on the connective tissue channels of the body. Okay, and then we're going to do a twist from here. Okay, so we'll push up onto the right hand, and we're going to twist to the left. Okay, and this will give our digestive systems a little bit of support by creating a ringing action. Okay, now this is the first step here. If you wanted to go a little bit deeper, you could fold in the direction of your left leg. Okay, so looks like this, where you're folding over, okay, in the direction of your left leg. Okay, you could also just stay in the middle and continue to twist, creating that ringing sensation as you ring to the left. Good. And then we're going to do the same thing to the right, either using the chair or using the floor, and wringing out the digestive system, wringing out the internal organs. So you can go a bit deeper by folding in towards your right leg this time. Good, last few seconds here. Great, and then the last part, we're just going to fold over the center again, either with or without the chair. Okay, whether it's forehead on the chair or going a little bit further, you turn it into a forward bend and relaxing the head. Just a few final seconds here. So the advantage of this forward bend is that we're helping the digestive system by inverting the internal organs. So we're letting the normal effect of gravity, which is a downward effect, reverse here, and that way we give our
digestive systems a little bit of a break. The knees can be as bent as you need to just really let the torso hang. Good, and then come up halfway. We're going to walk our feet together, and right away we're going to come down into a seated position, and we're going to sit on our outer left hip. And this is where a pillow can become handy, because we're going to straddle the pillow with our hands, one side on each hand, one hand on each side of the pillow. We're taking a breath in here, and then we're going to rest the belly, the chest, and the left side of the face on the cushion, with the arms either out like so, palms down, or you can take the back hand, the left hand, to turn inwards beside your hip. Okay, so this is another twist, but in this case, this twist is a bit more decompressive, so it's creating a little bit more of a stretch through the internal organs. Try to relax your shoulders and feel the weight of your body on the cushion, just letting go. Using your breath, the sensations in your body as an anchor to really stay present here. You can allow thoughts, so you're not trying to stop yourself from thinking, but they just become more like background noise because you're focused a little bit more on the sensations of rest in your body, the sensation of letting go, and of just being here in this moment where you are resourced, where you are centered, this moment where there's lots of room, there's lots of space. And we're practicing in this way as we let go. We're practicing this kind of inner smoothness. In Buddhism, they call it equanimity. It's that quality of just being able to roll with it. Just resting, letting go. Last few moments here. Good. And then let's use our hands. We're going to come all the way back up, and we'll take it over to the other side. The same thing on the other side. So we're sitting on the outside of our right hip, and hands on either side of the cushion. We'll take a long breath up. So we're stretching up from the ground, and then the belly, the ribs, the chest, and the right side of the face on the cushion. And I can have both palms facing down, or I can have my right hand palm up beside my hip. And again, just letting the props, letting the supports do the work here. So the work is to find this easygoing stretch here, this organic stretch of the internal digestive system, supporting our digestive systems here by just letting the weight of the body go. Returning back just to a natural process of the way that we digest experience, is just to be with it. So the mind will have different thoughts, will have different feelings, emotions, physical sensations. All those are okay. Just try to rest behind them. The part of you that is aware that you are having thoughts. The part of you that is aware that you feel anxiety or sadness or fear or joy or pleasure, that part of you is resting. So while we can't control our external world all the time and what's unfolding around us, we can choose our internal response. And so here we're cultivating this response of letting go, of creating softness and ease in the body. Notice where you're just subtly holding yourself up and bracing the posture. And can you just soften at the edges? You might not get all the way to wet noodle, but you just want to be as relaxed as you can be in this moment. And that's okay. Very good. And then when you're ready, using your hands, I'm going to slowly sit back up. And from here, we're going to come into I'll show you a couple variations of this next pose. The more classic version of the child's pose is sitting on your heels and then resting your torso like so. Okay, you can also, if you have more pillows or a little extra height, you can use a couple of supports underneath the cushion. And you also have the option, if it bothers your knees to sit like this and to fold forward, you have the option of doing it lying on your back. Okay, so bending your knees into your chest. And in this case, it might be nice to have a pillow or a block or some support under your head and just holding your knees in here like this. Okay, so whether you're hugging your knees in or you're lying on your stomach, or even a third option would just be like a side fetal position. Here we're deliberately creating some containment in and around the digestive system, around the stomach and the gut and the spleen and the pancreas. Okay, we're containing the digestive organs. Okay, so it can be, again, like I said, lying on your back, just be here for a couple of minutes, or in more of the classic form of the shape. But notice how it's the same shape. It's the fetal position. And whichever one feels most nourishing for your body right now. That's sort of the key, is it's learning here. These practices are all about caring for our bodies. Okay, so often your body will tell you, oh, not quite that way, but this way. And then we find that we become more like water around river rocks without resistance, and we just find a little more ease. And tuning into the physical sensations of rest. If your head is turned off to one side, you can change the direction of your head for the second half of the hold. And In the second half, just see if you can soften, just let loose everywhere. Your face, your jaw, your shoulders, your hips. Taking this little break to get more centered in your body. As we become more centered, it becomes easier to feel that equanimity, that inner smoothness, because your center, at your center, your core is basically equanimity. It's like that inner rudder on a ship. It's the part of you that is unchanging. If you can get closer to your center, whatever's going on around you, you become more responsive, more clear, able to respond in a good way. So last moments here, just soften tension in the body. Feel if there's any way that you're still gripping or bracing in your jaw, your face, or your hands. When we experience anxiety, we can often experience that as a kind of startle, like a threat. A deep survival mechanism kicks in, and here we're reminding the body that in this moment we can choose to rest, being more available to life. Good. And then when you're ready, let's use our hands to sit all the way back up. Okay, so we're going to come into a counter pose now. And for this one, I'll show you, again, a couple of options. So one option would be to take your bolster or your pillow, and it might be nice to have a little support under your head. Okay, and you're basically going to lie back in what we call the fish pose, or the supported fish pose. Depending on the mobility of your spine, okay, this might create compression in your neck or your lower back, okay, and if it feels too high, one option would be to use a lower height. So I could take maybe the edge of my blanket, roll it up, and then I have a bit more, a bit lower height where I can just rest here. Okay, so the knees can be bent or straight, and here we're focusing on this kind of expanding, this organic expanding in the torso. The arms can be relaxed out to the sides. You want the back of your neck to be long and decompressed. Settle in using your breathing, using the physical sensations in your body. And using the breath, using the sensations in the body, the raw sensations, to come into presence in this moment. Notice if there's any subtle ways that you're bracing your front, you're contracting your belly, you're gripping in your throat, in your heart, in your shoulders. And any amount, just try to soften that bracing, soften the tension. Feel the breath like a wave washing over the heart, washing over the belly. Beginning to break down the gripping, the bracing, the tension. Making space to digest your experience. So kind of making in a way as we close our eyes, as we kind of narrow our focus in a way to our body, to our physical sensations. It's a bit like the way that they use blinders for racehorses, like the overwhelm can set in a nervous system. So we're kind of closing off, we're creating this boundary of self-care. And what might feel like this kind of self-indulgent, selfish thing to do, to focus on getting more centered and more equanimous, is actually one of the very few things that we have control over. That we have control over how we respond. We have control over our minds, over our thoughts. And we have control over which tools we use to stay regulated, to stay centered, regardless of what's going on around us. So notice if you can find the place in you that is unchanging, that's able to see all of this craziness and rest back there. For me, it's kind of like I'm sitting upwards and backwards behind my experience. And it's not that I'm checking out, it's that I'm coming to a place of more clarity and responsiveness. There is a subtle way that we can use these practices to bypass, to check out from our experience. And it's not that we're dissociating. In fact, we're acknowledging, we're making room to digest these overwhelming feelings, to feel the challenge of adversity, of difficulty, of suffering, to acknowledge that, to have compassion for it, but also to make the choice to come back to center. Make the choice to be as equanimous and smooth as we can be as this unfolds. Good. So when you're ready, we're going to roll to one side. And we're going to come back to sitting. Okay, and then we'll do one more posture. And this one, we're going to use either the seat of a chair or a couch. I'm going to show you from the side with the actual chair. And here is where it would be helpful to have your bag of beans, or in my case, I'm using these little ankle weights. Okay, so we're resting now in or on our backs with our legs up on the chair. Okay, you have a little support underneath your head so that your neck can feel spacious. Okay, and this can be a little bit of an intuitive exploration, but you're going to place your sandbags or your weight. I kind of really enjoy having the feeling of weight on the belly, but for some of you might prefer having it on the shins, on the thighs, or one on each hand or the arms. You want to feel where it feels useful and helpful to have some contact, some connection. Okay, so go ahead and experiment a little bit with the weight, whether it's on the lower belly or on the shoulders or on the hands. We're utilizing this tool of the earth element, the physical weight. We're increasing the effect of gravity. And once you've found the place that feels very supportive for you, you have enough support under your head. If you want to cover your eyes, you can. This last little bit of rest. In this position, we're promoting the idea of organic relaxation. So letting our internal organ systems rest. And now the neurological research is showing that this is how we build more resilience. Okay, we build resilience by experiencing stress, but also being able to pendulate into rest. Okay, so there's this quality of showing up in our lives of, being exposed to stress. If we're alive today, we're going to feel stress, we're going to feel overwhelmed. And we need to be able to pendulate our nervous systems from this kind of high state of arousal, of stress, of feeling of threat and anxiety to deep rest. And that's how we become stronger. That's how we use stress to grow. Okay, so here in this moment, we rest deeply, and we allow the new pathways of our experience, of our new ground, of this new world this new world of uncertainty that we're navigating, to settle into our system. So as much as you're able to, let the physical sensations of rest come to the foreground. And sometimes when we're really anxious, really overwhelmed, maybe we just can focus on one little part of us that feels rest. Maybe it's like the corner of our thumb, our right thumb, and then we feel the rest in the right thumb, and it starts to spread outwards into the rest of the body. Maybe it's the inside of your left knee you feel rest in. So whatever we focus on begins to expand and become more and more pervasive through the body. Maybe it's just the outer corner of your left jaw and cheekbones that you feel a little rest in. Then let that expand like warm liquid down your shoulders, into your rib cage and your belly. So wherever you feel rest, just let that be your focus. Even if it's the tiniest little window, this little sliver of rest. Notice how you're experiencing that rest. How do you know that you feel rest? How's it changing your breathing? Is it slowing it down? Is it deepening it? How does it change your relationship with the floor, with the ground. Last moments here. And so slowly coming back into sensations, the sounds in the room, the feeling of the air on your skin, the ambient light coming in through your eyes, the feeling of your breath expanding. And when you're ready, you might stretch your arms and legs one last time, just maybe wiggling your toes. And when you feel ready, you can roll to one side, just move your weight off to the side. And we'll come up to a seated position. All right, so thank you so much for your practice. May it make our hearts and our minds stronger and our bodies healthier. And thanks for joining.